Hey man, what's going on? Bill here, and today we're going to go ahead and practice our warm-up. So the warm-up is like a series of about 5 to 10 minutes depending on who you are and what exactly you're doing. We want to do all these movements in order too, okay? Now, disclaimer if you will, if you have an injury or something like that, let me know ahead of time. I might cherry pick which ones you do and which ones you don't, or I might add more in or less, okay? So just be aware of that. And if you had a back injury, knee injury, something like that, I might make a little modification. I'm also going to show you how to make this a little bit harder and a little bit easier for a couple specific movements, okay? But first one up, just leg swings. All you really need is a wall for this one, or any kind of thing you can grab onto, nothing really crazy. You're going to do 10 on each side, going forward and backwards just like this. For the first 5 or so, start a little bit on the lower side, okay? Take your time with it. If it feels good, we'll try and raise them up in the air, nice and high. Second up, facing towards the wall. Okay, I'm doing over here so you can see me and not look at my ass. Doing the same thing, going to the side, okay? You got 10, then go ahead and switch legs, and I want you to go front to back with the other side first. Okay, so that's that. Next up, I'm going to pull a little shift. I'll lower this down for you so you can see it. It's a calf stretch. Okay, so ball foot against the wall just like this. You're going to go ahead and what's considered an active stretch. Okay, so you don't want to hold this for more than a couple seconds at a time. You lean in, hold the stretch for 2-3 seconds, lean back, relax the muscle. Lean in, hold the stretch for 2-3 seconds, lean back, relax the muscle. You got 5 in each leg. Okay, so do 5, switch it, and another 5. Okay? Now for this next bit, we're going to raise it back up here. It's what's called a walking knee hug. Okay, so it kind of looks like this. I'm going to start coming towards the camera so you can see it, but it looks something like this. Grab it onto the knee, pull it up a little bit so you can give your hip a little bit of a stretch. Now when you do this, don't just grab onto your knee. I actually want you to physically pull up a little bit on it as you're walking down and back. You want to go for around 10 on each side for this one, along with the next two I'm going to show you. Just alternating back and forth. So if you go to the one end, you didn't get 10, spin around and go back the other way. I mean, really simple. It needs to line the floor, and you're good. Next one up is going to be the exact opposite of the one we just did. Okay, so you're going to take a step forward and pull back on your ankle. Now, if you notice in that shot, I'm not actually grabbing onto my foot. Okay, this makes it a little bit easier. I'm actually grabbing onto the ankle. Okay. Now, for some people, this is actually a little too hard to do. If that's the case, grab onto the wall, grab onto it best you can, and pull back, and then switch it. Pull back and switch. But if you need to grab onto the wall and do it, grab onto the wall, alternate, going back and forth. Okay? But again, if you can do it, do a walking one like I just showed you. 10 on each side for me. Again, if you need to go all the way to the end, spin it. That's cool. Come back. Next up, kick walk. Let me show you from this direction. So hands out in front for me, going up and down just like that. This is kind of similar to the leg swings we just did. When you do this motion to start off, the first lap or the first 5 on each side, keep it a little bit on the low side. Okay, see how the hamstring feels if it's tight one day, if it's not tight one day, whatever that might be, and go ahead and act accordingly. The second lap or the second 5, if you feel good, really try and raise that leg nice and high in the air. Now the reason I keep my hands out is kind of a gauge for how high I'm going. Okay, so they should be straight out in front for me. And if you can see the first little bit, they don't go as high. The second 5 though, bring them up there best you can. Okay, so that's that. Next up, I'm going to lower this back down a little bit. Good. So next up we're just doing a lunge, okay? So going down and then back up. Let's try and get it a little bit more. There we go. So as we're going, it's going to be a walking lunge down the length of the room. Ideally getting both knees right around 90-degree angles as you go down. Take a step forward, okay? Go down all the way to 90-degree angles. Now when you do this, the same thing as the other few. You're going to do a walking lunge, okay? So I'll try to get the length of the whole room. There we go. So it looks something like this. So as you go down, 90-degree angle both knees, switch it, going back and forth. Again, I'm going kind of fast right now so you can kind of see what I'm doing, but going for about 10 on each side or 2 full laps of the room. Now the next one, similar position. Let me actually lower this down a little bit. There we go. So the next one. Similar position, I'm going to show you my left knee, going down to a walking lunge, and I want you to twist towards the front knee. Okay, so my left leg is in front, you're going to twist towards that direction, so give you a nice little stretch right there in your hip. When you take your next step down the length of the floor for me, go down to a lunge, and then twist. So, if you're doing the normal motion, it would look something like this, okay? You're going down, twist, go down, twist. And again, whatever leg is in front, go with that one first. Moving right along. Let's raise this up a little bit. And then back down. All right, excellent. So, Next up, we're going to drop down to push-up position. Okay, so hands on the floor just like this, legs back. For this one, it's called the Spider-Man stretch. So you're going to bring your foot up to the side, close to your hand. Just lower this a touch. So, I'll move back so you can see it. So the foot that's in front right here, it's nice and flat against the floor, okay? Make sure for this one, when you're doing it, you go ahead and actually put your heel on the ground. A lot of people have the tendency of doing, twist a little bit so you can see it, they'll actually raise their heel off the ground like this. That's not going to be as much of a stretch for you. Now you notice my back leg is actually on the floor currently. You can do that. It makes the stretch a little bit easier if you're just starting out. But ideally, what I want to see in the stretch is have that back knee off the ground. And really try and sink down into it. Keep this foot up as close to your hand as you can towards the hand. Sink down into it for about 5 seconds. Bring this leg back. Switch up on this side. It's going back and forth. So you're shooting around 5 on each side. Okay, so that's that one. Now while we're down here, the next one, we're going to do a little bit of a quad stretch. This one's actually pretty intense, so a little goes a long way for this one, so just be aware of that. I can do this one on my carpet because the carpet's here, but if you need to grab a pillow, if you have hardwood, toss the pillow down on the floor of a mat or something else so you have a little bit of cushion for your knee, okay? If you have knee problems, talk to me about this one, so you don't go ahead and do this one. But it looks something like this. You're going to get down on all fours, okay? Butts to the chair, put a foot up on top for me. You're going to take your left foot, put it out in front, and slowly lean back just like this. You feel a nice little stretch right in the quads and the back leg. Now for this one, again, a little goes a long way, but if you want to make it a little bit harder, get a little more out of the stretch, go ahead, take your hips and push forward a little bit, just like this, and add even more to the stretch. Try and lean your torso back a little bit. Hold this one for about 20-30 seconds, and then switch legs. Other side, just like that, leaning back. All right? Excellent. Okay. We got one more to do quick, and it'll be good to go. Now the last one was originally designed for a band, okay, which is exercise equipment. If you have a band, go ahead and use it. If not, any kind of towel or blanket like this is going to work well. Best way to do it: spin it around, grab onto the end, something like this, and you're going to lock your arms out in place, okay? Now with this blanket or the pillow, go ahead, just wrap it up. You're going to slowly bring it down around your back, and then back out and in front just like this, okay? So the easier it's going to be if your hands are further apart. If you want to make it a little harder on your shoulders and give you more of a stretch, bring it a little bit closer, okay? Now again, for me, I go back and this is a little bit harder. It feels a little tight right there. Never just try and force this thing all the way down very fast, okay? It should be a nice slow motion. So, let's say for example I made it a little too tight for myself off the bat. And you're going down right there, it's too tight. Don't force it. Just bring it back in front. And try and get back a little bit further the next time, then back. And you're also going to notice I'm trying to keep my elbows completely locked in place almost the entire time, so this is all for the shoulders. What I don't want to see is I don't want to see you go ahead and bend your elbows back so you can get all the way back for me. Kind of defeats the purpose. Alright? So, dude, that's it for the warm-up. Any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to reach out to me. That's just the basic one. The reason I have a program like this, it kind of covers all your bases, so it covers everything, lower body, upper body, all the above. All right? Well, any questions? We'll talk soon. All right? Peace out.